Listeners, welcome to ECCB Connects. We're coming to the end of this, our first season. The final episode will be released next Wednesday. This week, we look at the ECCB's 2015-2016 annual report, and next week, we'll recap some of the highlights from the first season. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I have with me Governor Mr. Timothy N.J. Antoine, and we'll be looking at the bank's performance over the past financial year. Governor, welcome again to ECCB Connects.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Okay. Governor, the ECCB published its 2015-2016 annual report at the end of June, and we saw that the bank has recorded a loss, and this has been for the third consecutive time. What has contributed to the loss this year?
Okay, so good question. So we did make a loss for the third consecutive year. That's the bad news. The good news is that the losses are getting smaller. If you recall, at the end of 2014, the loss was $18 million. At the end of 2015, the loss was $12 million. And at the end of 2016, which is the end of March or financial year, the loss was $10 million. So from 18 to 12 to $10 million. So we're coming down. And we expect that we will, over time, eliminate the loss. Why is the central bank making losses at this moment? Now recall how the central bank earns its income. Pretty much all the income of the central bank comes from interest on the reserves of the central bank. We have, $1.8 billion thereabouts in reserves. Many of those are in U.S. fixed income securities. And everyone knows that interest rates have been at a historical low. In fact, after the Great Recession, the Fed cut rates dramatically. And the rates have been so low, in fact, at some cases 0% for a long time. And it was only at the end of last year, December 2015, that the Fed raised the rates again for the first time in, I believe, 7 years. Bottom line is, we've been earning less than 1% on most of our reserves. And that is the primary reason why the bank has been making losses. Because what we do to pay our bills, to pay our salaries, to pay our utilities, we rely on the income from the reserves. And a portion of that is normally taken to pay our bills. In times past, we were getting a lot of income because interest rates were higher. In recent years, the last 3 years in particular, interest rates have been so low, historically all-time low, that has affected our interest income. As interest rates begin to rise, that will change. And we can talk about what else we're doing to improve the situation.
Okay. So you spoke about the income side, but we know there's income and the expense side. So what is the bank doing in terms of controlling expenses?
Right. So before I go to that, let me just say on income, one more comment there. Part of how we go forward with interest income is out of our hands. We don't control when the Fed raises the rates. So we obviously are monitoring that very closely. And when they raise rates, that will help us. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we are at this moment reviewing our reserve management framework. We haven't reviewed it for a while, so we do not know, and we're also reviewing our investment policy. So on the income side, we believe those can also help, and that's what we can do. So we're doing what we can do. Now you ask about what we're doing on the expenditure side. The first thing is that we have, in fact, just, last year, withdrew loss-making coins. I don't know if people know this, but 1 cent, 2 cents, and 5 cents, we actually lose money when we issue those coins. The central bank loses money when it does that. So last year, the central bank withdrew 1 and 2 cent coins. So we will save money, because otherwise we would otherwise have lost. In addition to that, the central bank has just put in a new telephony system, which is to say, I mean, you know, we serve 8 countries. We are obviously in connection with financial institutions all over the world, other central banks. Our telephone bills are high. And what we've, traditionally speaking, what we've done is to basically introduce a new system that allows us to call, or for example, resident rep offices as an internal call. Mm-hmm. So we are seen a reduction, a significant reduction in our telephone bills.
So that means a call from St. Kitts to, let's say, an office in St. Lucia is considered an internal call instead of an overseas call.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And remember, we have 8 countries. Mm-hmm. So that is going to help us a ton, plus the calls we make internationally based on the new system that we have. So we're doing that. And then, of course, we're also looking at internal operation efficiencies, how we could be more efficient with our expenditure, with our existing staff complement of just over 200, how we can make sure that we make the most of our existing staffing. And as part of the strategic priority that we call enhancing organizational effectiveness, we're taking a look at those things.
Okay. So I know despite the loss, the bank has also had major achievements over the past financial year. Let's look at some of those major achievements.
Good. Many major achievements. The first is the most obvious one, which is monetary stability. We have continued to have a strong EC dollar, a strong backing of the EC dollar. Last year, for example, on average, we were backed around 96.5%. What does the law require? 60%. So we continue to maintain a very strong backing of our currency, which provide for not just monetary stability, but confidence. It's low inflation, relatively speaking, and also attracting foreign direct investment. So
and just to plug here, you talk about the stability. Just earlier this month, we celebrated 40 years of that stability.
Absolutely correct. 40 years of that stability. That's no mean feat. And it's a credit to everyone who's been around the institution, governors past and present, staff, Monetary Council, board, and everyone, and most of all the citizens. And on that note, again, I do want to just celebrate Sir Dwight Venner and his contribution to our bank. This being his last year, 26th year, we owe a lot to Sir Dwight's and his legacy. So that's one of the major achievements, monetary stability. On the financial side, financial stability, we have several things we can talk about. First of all, the passage of a new modern banking act. That's big. That's huge. And that new law provides, among other things, for the licensing authority to now reside in the central bank. Hitherto, it was with the ministers of finance. It also provides for resolution tools. If there's a problem, the central bank has the powers in law to intervene in a timely fashion and in an effective fashion. The central bank did not have some of those tools before. Fit and proper, making sure that the right people are sitting on boards and managing these banks, the financial institutions. The law allows us to address those, among other things. So that was a big one this year, the enactment of the new Banking Act in all of our countries. In addition to that, very importantly, we moved to resolve some troubled banks. I think we well know of the situation in Antigua and Barbuda with ABIB, Antigua Barbuda Investment Bank, which in November of 2015 was resolved through a merger with the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank, ECCB. So now, because of that, the financial system in Antigua and Barbuda and the ECCU is stronger today than it was prior to that resolution. So those are two very important things. And then just one more thing I'll mention is the passage into law of the Eastern Caribbean Asset Management Corporation bill. So on the financial stability front, definitely some things we can talk about. And then I think we can also look to see what has happened with respect to the question of growth. The economies grew again last year in the ECCU by about 2.6%. And the bank itself continues to support growth through several projects. And we could talk about that as we go forward. But right now we're looking at projects to help boost access to finance for small, medium, and enterprises, small businesses, because we want to see jobs created. So there are things we can speak of. Very successful year for the central bank.
Okay. An institution like the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, of course, will have certain corporate responsibility, and I know the bank has several initiatives to fulfill this mandate. Let's look at what the bank did over the past financial year in terms of fulfilling its corporate responsibility.
Well, we do several things. We do a lot of work in financial literacy, financial information, financial tips. Even on ECCB or ECCB Connects, this podcast, at the end of every podcast, we have a financial tip. We've had for several years now our Financial Information Month in October, where we really bring into sharp focus the need to build entrepreneurship. We deliver savings and investment courses. We engage people in a number of areas to build financial prowess and to enable people to basically take control and to be able to better pursue their dreams through appropriate financial arrangements. So that's one of the things we do and we will continue to do. In the area of sports, we support the OECS ECCB under 23 netball tournament. In fact, it's propitious for me to say that the tournament just ended, and I want to congratulate Grenada for again winning the tournament. It's one thing to win; it's another thing to defend, and Grenada was able to do that this year, as it did last year. But also to congratulate St. Vincent and the Grenadines as runner-up and host, as well as the other countries which participated, Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts. So that's something we've done. And the Central Bank has done this for the last 25 years. We really believe in investing in our young people. And again, tribute to Sir Dwight. It was his idea, along with Red Pereira, to do this. And then we engage in a number of sporting activities. The Central Bank has annual sporting games, sports, where we involve a lot of our members of staff in various houses in cricket, football, darts, netball, dominoes, athletics. I'm sure I missed a few. All good fun. Because it is so important, given the important mandate of this bank, that we have an appropriate work-life balance. We work hard every day, long hours, and it's important that we encourage people to have healthy lifestyles. Active lifestyles, where there's the health and wellness agenda, where people work out, exercise, relieve stress, enjoy laughter and community outside of the office. And so the Central Bank encourages that, and that's something obviously we want to continue to do. And every 2 years we have what is called Inter-Central Bank Games, where we visit a number of countries. Last we were in Suriname in April of this year. So those are some of the things we do at the Central Bank. We also, for example, every year do the annual banking conference. And at that conference, we award best corporate citizens. So our banks are encouraged to do good things in the community, sports, education, various fields, arts, culture. And we recognize them and award them these best corporate citizen awards. So it's just a way of us giving back to the community whom we serve, and long may that continue.
Let's look forward now. What are the plans for the bank for the 2016-2017 financial year? What are the major activities planned?
Well, we have some huge plans. I don't know where to start, but just a few. Under financial stability, we certainly will be seeing the operationalization of the new Banking Act. That's a big one for us. We will also be pursuing the development of deposit insurance, as well as pushing the credit bureau. We believe those things will help with not just financial stability, but also with growth. Another area that we'll be focused on is two projects, one with the World Bank, one with the German government, to assist small businesses to access financing. Because we believe if small businesses have more access to financing, they can create more jobs, we can see the economies grow faster, and we can see improvements in the banking system. So that's another area of focus for us. On the enhancing organizational effectiveness side, there's several things. Obviously, the podcast is one. Our new website is another. The engagement, the country outreach, where we go to the countries and we meet social partners and we talk to governments and leaders of the opposition and churches and labor unions and business community and youth and media. All of that is part of what we will continue to do. So there is quite a lot for us, if you look at our strategic priorities, that we will be doing in this year 2016 to 2017.
Governor, thank you once again for coming to speak with us on ECCB Connects.
Thank you, and by the way, congratulations on your recent promotion.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our viewers, home and abroad, wherever they are in the currency union.
Thank you, sir.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. And now for this week's financial tip.
The 5 P's of success. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects, anytime, any place, at your convenience, check out our YouTube channel, ECCB Connects.
ECCB Connects is now on Facebook. We invite you to like our page and we remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.